Brave Girls Bible Stories. Rachel and Leah, the game plan in Genesis 29 and 30. This is Proverbs 21:31. You can get the horses ready for battle, but it is the Lord who gives the victory. All I need is a ball or a racket, a few friends, and I'm set. In no time at all, I'll get a good game of whatever you like underway. I think life's just a little better with some friendly competition. Maybe that's why I like sports so much. If you know the rules, you can generally play the game and have some fun with it. But relationships, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It seems like people don't play by the same set of rules. Can you imagine if there were 1,000 different ways to play soccer? Crazy, I know. That's the same kind of game Rachel and Leah played against each other in this Bible story. It was hard for both of them. But I like their story because in the end they had to learn that God makes the rules, and life is better when we play by those rules and trust Him. Everybody wins that way. Boys. They sure can mess with a girl's brain. One day, when Rachel was walking to the well to water her sheep, she saw Jacob for the first time. Like a real gentleman, Jacob moved the heavy stone away from the well, and then he kissed her. I guess you could say it was love at first sight. Jacob asked Rachel's father, Laban, for his permission to marry Rachel. Laban was a businessman, the not-so-honest kind. But he agreed to let Jacob marry Rachel if Jacob worked for him for 7 years first. Yes, 7 years. That's 2,555 days of work. Jacob must have loved Rachel so much because he agreed. But when the wedding day finally arrived, Laban broke the rules of the game. He switched out the daughters, so to speak, and gave Leah, his older daughter, to Jacob instead. But Jacob didn't want Leah. He wanted Rachel. Laban made him agree to work another 7 years so he could marry Rachel too. Jacob agreed, and after 7 years, Jacob and Rachel tied the knot. Now, I would tell the ref at this point that too many players were on field because the two wives is definitely one too many, but things were different back then. And the sisters had to learn to live together. But poor Leah. She wasn't pretty like Rachel, and her husband didn't love her like he loved her sister. So God comforted Leah by giving her lots of children. Each one she gave a special name that showed she knew that God was watching her. And that even if her husband didn't care for her, God did. But then Rachel got upset. Compared to Leah, she was losing the baby race, and she didn't like the way this game was headed. She wanted children too, but God told her no for a while. And in the last minutes of the game, Rachel had 2 sons, all in God's time and plan. Leah and Rachel became an important part of giving birth to God's special people, the 12 tribes of Israel. Hope says, at first glance, neither Leah nor Rachel looks particularly brave. But on second glance, you see true grit. Leah, who pressed on in spite of being rejected by her husband, and Rachel, who persevered through watching her sister marry the man who loved her and then waiting while she tried to have babies. In the end, God blessed them both with children and an honored place in Israel's family tree. Both these ladies remind me that God is working a far better game plan for my life than I can understand. That's what He promised to do for all of us who love Him. Lord, help me hope in You instead of trying to work things out the way I want. Amen.